Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. For today's video, we have 15 mistakes these NBA franchises regret. This is an article by Michaels Zach. So we all have favorite NBA teams. We all have different perspectives on how our favorite teams are run and the choices that probably should have been made. I mean, I do a lot of rebuilds on my channel, and no matter what choice I make, there's always somebody that's going to praise me for it and somebody else that is going to, totally roast me for it, just because we all have different perspectives on the game of basketball. So I want to know in the comment section below, before we start this video, what is your favorite NBA team and what do you think your biggest team's mistake was? I'm going to give you guys mine at the end of the video right here, although I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know what it is, me being a Detroit Pistons fan, right? So here we go, let's get started on this article. The first one we have is the Knicks re-signing Carmelo Anthony. Okay, so I don't know if it was so much the fact they re-signed him. I mean, I think it's well warranted to re-sign a guy like Carmelo Anthony. The thing is that they gave him that no trade clause, so I think that is kind of was the big hiccup in the end right there when they were trying to find a trade destination for this man right here, because realistically, like they got Enes Kanter back, Dougie McBuckets, and I believe like a second-round draft pick. Not the greatest haul. I mean, yes, Enes Kanter has been decent for that team, but it actually sounds like he's already on the trade block and everything. So who knows for a team like the New York Knicks, for when they were trading Carmelo Anthony, like who knows what they could have got back from him. I mean, they probably could have got like a first-round draft pick for somebody out there, or maybe a younger player, somebody that could have, they could have built towards the future with. So yeah, I think that's the biggest regret, is more so just giving him the no trade clause, not so much re-signing him. Next up we have the Cavs failing to build around LeBron James the first time. Yes, I could not believe this, man. Like, I think about Anthony Davis on the Pelicans and just like how poor job they did in his early days. I mean, he's still only 22, but like, the first few years of his career, how poorly they did of rebuilding around him. You think about LeBron James, that team he took to the finals against the San Antonio Spurs, that team was god-awful, man. I believe that was the year they had Larry Hughes, Daniel Gibson, and I think the following year is when they actually got Antoine Jamison. It's like they did such a poor job about, about putting guys around LeBron James that ultimately he's just like, all right, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. I'm going to play the franchise that already has good players, with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh out there. We all know how that worked out for him. In the end, he did come back to the team, and I do think that that they've done a bit of a better job listening to his demands. I mean, as of right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are not playing great. They have a lot of isolation players on the team and a lot of guys that are struggling with their jump shot and just bad chemistry in the locker room. So it's the same thing where it's like, that's kind of why people are kind of thinking he might be knocking on the door of some other teams out there if the Cleveland Cavaliers fail to really, commit to LeBron James going forward. Also, Dan Gilbert is looking to sell the team, so you can tell he's not fully committed. I don't know, man. It's very interesting. But yeah, definitely a mistake, and I think a big reason why he left in the first place. Next up, we have the Supersonics trade Scottie Pippen. Yo, I did not know this happened, man. Bro, was this like... Wait, what was this? Wow, they traded away the draft rights to Scottie Pippen. Wow, he could have been a member of that team, so that would have been like... was that around like the Sean Kemp days, Gary Payton? Was that around that time? I don't remember exactly when those guys played. I believe it was like the late 80s and like 90s and stuff. Because that team would have been freaking deadly when it came to like defense and stuff. Yeah, who knows what Scottie Pippen would have done by himself, on that Seattle Supersonics team. But at the end of the day, I'm happy we went to the Bulls because it just seemed like a hand and glove fit alongside Michael Jordan. All right, next up we have the OKC Thunder trades James Harden. So I remember this trade like it was yesterday, man. It was basically coming down to cap space issues where it's like they had Russell, they had Durant, Serge Ibaka, and James Harden. They were like, okay, one of these guys has to go. We just simply cannot afford to pay all these guys. And, their mindset was, well, we have Russell Westbrook, we have Kevin Durant for scoring out there. Serge Ibaka provides defense and rebounding, and at the time wasn't like a great three-point shooter, but would still stretch out to mid-range and stuff like that. So we're like, we really don't need the ball-handling capabilities of James Harden on this team. Of course, he went to the Houston Rockets, became a superstar MVP caliber player, but at the same time, it's like, who knows how good he would have been if he would have stuck with the OKC Thunder. Like, would he have even reached his full potential? Probably not, because he would have been playing behind Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. But at the same time, it's still fun to think about what that team would have been like. So, yeah, definitely a mistake, I would say, no doubt. All right, next we have the Washington Wizards draft Kwame Brown. And yes, this is a mistake right here. Now, it goes back to my whole thing, which I was going to say at the end of the video, but I'll say it right now, of Darko being drafted by the Pistons. I mean, you have scouts at the time that look at these players, and they look like good basketball players. Like, I mean, it's one thing to, know how your game is going to translate into the NBA, but at the time, it's like Kwame Brown looked like he was going to be a dominant NBA player. He just never at all lived up to the hype and became terrible. So, yeah, I mean, that's a mistake if you think about it, but at the same time, man, it's like, it's easy to look back and look at these mistakes just because you really don't know how players are going to turn out. I don't remember exactly who was in that draft with Kwame Brown. Like, who's like a big-time player they missed out on by drafting that? If you guys can let me know that in the comment section below. Oh, here we go. It says right here. They passed on Tyson Chandler, Pau Gasol, Joe Johnson, Zach Randolph, and Tony Parker in favor of Brown. Okay, so yeah, those are all really good NBA players. A few Hall of Famers on there. But it's not like they passed on, like, you know, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. I'm just saying. All right, next up we have the Timberwolves passing on Stephen Curry. Yeah, and not only did they pass on Stephen Curry, they also drafted like 2 point guards before him. I believe that was the draft with that Johnny Flynn from Syracuse. And there was somebody else. Was that Ricky? Yeah, also Ricky Rubio. I believe it was that draft. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, it's like they passed on him, and who knows, man? If he was on that team right now, we have no idea what the team would ultimately look like. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, the Golden State Warriors definitely won that battle with getting Stephen Curry. But the Timberwolves, in the end, things are starting to look up for them. I mean, Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, Jimmy Buckets, like that team is definitely going to contend in the Western Conference for a long time too. Number 9, we have the Timberwolves trade Kevin Garnett. See, this one I disagree with 100%, man. Kevin Garnett was on that team with the Timberwolves, and they were just simply doing nothing. They were doing nothing for him out there. It was not so much a mistake because they got Al Jefferson for him, and you really think about it, Kevin Garnett was not going to stay in that team, guys. He was not going to stay in that team. I'm so happy he went to the Boston Celtics, got a chance to form a big three with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, and even Rajon Rondo, if you want to call it a big four, who came on kind of later in the scene. But yeah, it's like, that's not a mistake. That's just something that was bound to happen. If anything, it's a W because they did get Al Jefferson back for it instead of him just walking away via free agency, which totally I think was going to happen. Number 8, the Indiana Pacers passed on Larry Bird. I did not know this about this either, guys. So this was in the 1970 NBA draft. The Boston Celtics acquired his rights. Yeah, that's, yo, they also did the same thing with Kawhi Leonard, man. Yo, Indiana Pacers, low-key taking a few L's there in the NBA draft. Y'all just gotta just draft your players, just keep them, man. Like, come on, man, you've got a gut feeling about somebody, you gotta just follow it. I mean, same thing with Kawhi Leonard, like trading him for George Hill, and then regretting it years later. Number 7, Washington Wizards paid, oh my god, they gave this dude so much money, man. $111 million back in 2008. So yeah, at the time, that's a hell of a lot of money, man. Like, even now, I would consider that a bitch-ass contract of NBA 2K18. Like, that's a contract I'm looking to get rid of. While he was like a good player for the Wizards, it's like around this time is when he really started falling off. He had the whole gun situation that was not great. I mean, bringing guns into the locker room and just things like that. I think he was injury prone. I know later on he did go to the Orlando Magic, so I don't remember how that worked exactly, if the Wizards bought out his contract or just traded it to the Magic and the Magic just paid him his money. But I do know that I believe he's still getting paid that NBA contract right now, like in increments of, I don't know what the dollar amount is, but yeah, they gave that dude a lot of money. Alright, next up we have the Charlotte Hornets trade Kobe Pick. Yeah, a lot of people think about this, man. I've seen quite a few what if videos. When I first started doing what if videos, like in early 2016, this is one of the first ones I did on 2K. You know, like what if Kobe Bryant would have stayed with the Charlotte Hornets? It really is interesting to think about because that Charlotte Hornets team at the time, I doubt they were any good. I don't remember they had like anybody like too great on the team or anything like that. I am happy we went to the Lakers just because, like, when you think of the Lakers, you think of Kobe Bryant now. He stayed there for 20 seasons. It was obviously the right move for him, and it's obviously the team he wanted to play for, and just obviously the team that he wanted to stay with for all his whole entire NBA career. Although there were times where he's like, I know there was like rumors of him getting traded to the Chicago Bulls or Detroit Pistons. He shut that down, by the way. But yeah, who knows how that, that franchise would have turned out if he would have stayed on the team. Number 5, Allen Houston and the Knicks. Okay, so let's talk about this one right here. Essentially, any list of the worst NBA bitch-ass contracts in NBA history will have this one near the top. Back in 2011, the New York Knicks gave Allen Houston a 6-year worth $100 million contract, the richest ever awarded to a player by the franchise and the largest amount ever presented of a shooting guard at the time. Whoa, man. Damn, dude. Was he that trash or something like that? I mean, I know he was good at a time, I believe. But that's a big contract, back in 2001. I mean, I wonder, like, if you look at, like, inflation and all that, how that kind of correlates with today's NBA. All right, next up, we have the Brooklyn Nets Big Three. Another crazy what-if right here, man, and another thing that the Brooklyn Nets are still kind of suffering from. And the Boston Celtics, y'all want to talk about finesse, man? Like, y'all want to talk about closing a window? This team's window, the Boston Celtics Big Three window was closing big time. And the fact that they were able to finesse that trade from the Brooklyn Nets and get, like, 3 or 4 of them draft picks, oh my god, dude. Like, Boston, like Danny Ainge, y'all gotta give that dude the real MVP or something like that. That's absolutely crazy. And then, of course, they got all those draft picks that the Brooklyn Nets now are still continuing to miss out on. I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers currently hold on to the draft pick, which was involved in the Kyrie Irving deal. At the same time, though, I will say the Brooklyn Nets have definitely found themselves in a nice little situation. They've been able to scout and trade for young talent. D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie has been up and coming on that team big time. Jeremy Lin when he's healthy. And, I don't know, man, even just like Jahlil Okafor, they're still taking a chance on him. Who knows what he could be. So, yeah, but definitely an L, no doubt. The Stephian rule. Okay, so this is something that was new to NBA 2K18 this year. I had no idea what it was. It involves not being able to trade like consecutive first-round draft picks. So this led to the NBA creating what is known as the Stephian rule. Wait. Those of you who believe that Jimmy Harslem is under blah 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 blah, the Stephian way blah 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 blah. Okay. Yes, the Cavaliers eventually became a contender. Okay, so basically it was just trading a whole bunch of draft picks at the same time. It looked like he traded away five in a row. Okay, so that's where that rule came from. I had no idea. Like, this is interesting. Okay, damn, that's a lot of draft picks to trade in a row, man. Who was you trying to get? All right, next up, Isaiah Thomas and the Knicks. Now, I know he was the coach of the Knicks at one point, I believe, right? Yeah, it says he also became the general manager of the team right there. Yeah, they had a lot of big-time problems. Like, I know the Knicks, it seems like that team is almost cursed. They made the playoffs like once in the past however many years it's been, and that was just a few seasons ago. I believe that was the first year with Melo and also Amari Stoudemire. But yeah, this team, just under Isaiah Thomas, just was horrible, guys. Like, it says trading for Steve Francis, cutting Jerome Williams, instead of the previously mentioned Allen Houston, just stuff like that. And I know he had other, like, legal issues out there. Eddie Curry. Don't get me started on Eddie Curry, man. Ain't no Stephen Curry, let's be honest about that. Okay, well, let's move on to this last one. Yeah, we all knew this one, man. Trailblazers draft Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. You can even go on the record and maybe say drafting Greg Oden over Kevin Durant, although Greg Oden did have injuries, so you can't really hate on him too much for that. It just kind of is what it is. But yeah, the Trailblazers have just been notorious for getting screwed when it comes to their draft picks. Have it be somebody's just a bust or somebody gets injured. You look at Brandon Roy. But yeah, it's like, there was a lot. It's kind of crazy the amount of times Michael Jordan's been slept on when it came to basketball. Like, I know he got cut, I believe, from his JV team in high school. And then, you know, right here just not being the first pick in the draft, the GOAT of basketball. But yes, guys, obviously, man, I was saying earlier, like, what my biggest mistake was for my NBA franchise, drafting Darko. No, y'all, plain and simple, that's how it is out there. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below, like I was saying. What's your favorite NBA team? What's their biggest mistake of all time? Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and peace out, my friends.